Okay. Seems every other person will be joining soon, so I think we can now start for today's session. Proper place. Uh, we can now start today's session. Uh, so while waiting for a few others that will be joining us soon, let's recap on what we did last week. So last week we are able to understand what vibe coding is and how to use some key tools in vibe coding. Which one of those tools was Claude.ai. We used Claude.ai to build a mini platform. And to round up everything, by the end of our sessions last week, we were able to build a mini uh, a mini artificial intelligence. We can call it, let's say, mini ChatGPT. Very small, portable, but at least it can answer some questions on how to develop those. So, in order to go a little bit deeper into understanding vibe coding and how it works, first of all, we have to understand the tools that are behind this artificial intelligence, like tools that are behind ChatGPT. Let's say Codex is one of them, and tools behind Cloud, Claude.ai, uh, tools like Kiro, tools like Tre, tools like Cursor, tools that tools like Windsurf. Okay, Windsurf. So let me drop it on the chat. I think so that we can easily research them on our own free time. So you can check your charts. We have Cursor. Okay, we have Windsurf. We have Hero. We have uh, VO. We have Bolt. And then we have Codex. Okay, so um all these editors have an AI they are actually behind. Let's say, for instance, Cursor. Cursor is being is getting all its information from uh, Claude.ai. Remember, we used Claude.ai to design um, a tax management app during our first meeting of understanding what artificial intelligence is. We used the Claude AI to design a very small, portable tax manager application on the web. So we also have Windsurf. Windsurf uses ChatGPT and Claude. We have Kiro. Kiro uses Claude mostly, and then he also uses Gwen. There's an AI called Gwen, and Kiro uses that as well. Bio uses ChatGPT. Same with Bolt, and same with Codex. Okay, and also we have Trey. Trey uses ChatGPT mostly. Let's say GPT-5, and Trey is very intelligent, I promise you. But for this class, we'll be using Kiro. Okay. So first of all, let's look at what's this week topics is all about. So looking at our curriculum, I know everyone has the curriculum, right? Everyone has the course
Yes,
curriculum.
sir.
Okay. So looking at our curriculum on the week 2, you see we have advanced vibe coding, and rapid prototyping. Okay, so we are going to master how to develop faster and ship our application more quicker before anybody. So we're going to build a lot. We have a lot of projects to build this week because that will give us all hands, give us all the understanding we need to move on to next week. Topics, because next week's topic is a bit too advanced, and in order for us to understand next week topics completely, this week topic is very, very important. Okay, so let's move on. So now let's get to understand this week topic. So in order to understand this week topic very, very well and completely, we have to complete lesson 1 of last week, which is environment setup and first AI chat interface, which we did. Is there any question on the chat interface we built last time? So we'll just recap and then start today's topic fully. Any questions? Okay, no questions. So I think some people are still not waking up from the weekend because not really waking up. Actually, some people are still sleeping soundly. You know, maybe their weekend was very busy and stuff like that. So I guess some people will be late, or some people might not even be attending this class. I don't know, but that's probably it. Okay, so let's move to this. First of all, we need an account in order to operate Kiro, and we all know that we need an account. In addition to week 1 setup, which is what we did, we created a GitHub account, and with the GitHub account, we use it to log in or sign up into Kiro application. Now, we need software assets, which is Kiro and Node.js Git, and we have to confirm that our GitHub is working. So how many of us followed up in creating a GitHub account and owning one? Is there a problem on that side? Is everybody hearing me? Is my voice?
We can hear you, sir.
Okay. So nobody has a problem with installing or creating accounts with GitHub and all that. If all that is clear, then we're good. So the next one is we need an OpenAI key. Okay. And how do we get an OpenAI key? I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen so everybody can see how we can get an OpenAI key. So I'm going to share just one window. I'm going to go to OpenAI platform. Sorry, platform.openai.com.
Can't see your screen yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to share that. So, okay, I'm doing that right now. I hope everybody can see.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to open. Okay. So right here, I already have an OpenAI, but I'm just going to log out. It's very simple. All you have to do is create an account, like the normal way you create an account on platforms. But with OpenAI, all you have to go to is this address here, platform.openai.com. So I'm going to paste it in the conversation chat. Okay. So pasting it in the conversation chat. So we need a key from this place. So I've pasted the platform.openai.com in the conversation chat. So before we continue, all you'll do here is just to log in into your account. If you don't have an account, you can sign up. But I usually continue with my Google, which is what I usually sign up with. So I'll just click that. So right here, you can see I already have an account. And good morning. You can see here I already have an account. And if you check my billing page here, you see I have $5 on it. So in order for OpenAI to be functioning properly, you need to fund the account before you can use it. Okay. And it's very, very important to do that. So here you see I created an API key months ago. This API key here is what I use to refine product images. Let's say somebody just uploaded a picture and maybe the picture is not looking good. I can use OpenAI to generate pictures fit to that are very presentable to customers. Okay, so that is the API key I'm using here. But you can create your own API key for this particular class. I think we can create one. Let me create. Just as you're creating it, you save it somewhere. Okay, I'm going to create one. I'm going to call it point demi. And I'm going to
Faith,
select
please
the
mute.
project.
Faith, please mute.
Faith, please mute. Okay, let's continue. So here, I'm going to create a project. So first of all, you have to create a project before creating an API key. So this project is going to be point demi sessions. Okay. So I'm going to go to the API key section and then create a new secret key. Then I'm going to call it point demi key. And I'm going to select the point demi session from the list. And then I can either use a service account if that's what I want. That's if I'm a boat member, or the normal okay, or I use the normal default API key creation. So here I'm going to create this API key, and after creation, I'm going to get the API key here. So make sure to copy this because it's not going to be shown again. All right. Once you copy it, I'm going to save it somewhere. I'm going to save it somewhere. I'm going to save it in my document. I'm going to say new I'm going to save it in my document. Sorry, I'm going to do some things that you might not actually understand. I'm going to save it in my documents. You might not actually do this in your own system because some of us might be using a totally different operating system from what I'm using. I'm using Linux, so most of our operations are done with the terminal, okay? But you can use in your Windows, you can just right click and then create new file in the document folder. Okay, so here what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to create something called, I'm going to call it, so this is how you create a new file in Linux, okay?
That's that the Windows is not showing. Like we are still on your OpenAI platform
Oh,
dash.
okay, hold on. Let me share the screen. Okay, so I'm trying to save the key. So I went to my document folder here, okay, and I'm trying to save the new key. So this is how, I know everybody can see it right now. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to create a touch and thingy. So I'm done creating it. So let me open the file. I'm going to paste our key that I just copied from OpenAI.
I
I'm
am
going to save
going.
it there. So save X.
Yes, please. Maybe I have first.
Somebody's mic is turned on.
Dimide. Dimide. Please mute.
So as you can see here, you can now see I've created this file and saved our key inside this file. Okay. So with this, we just created our first API key from OpenAI, and our journey to AI development and developing and shipping faster starts from here. Okay. Let me stop presenting. Then let's move to the next phase of today's lesson. So now, so in Kiro, first of all, what are we going to learn by the end of this week? We'll learn how to use Kiro advanced features, including multi-file editing, refactoring, debugging, power, and also we're going to use it to build full stack application quickly. And also, we're also going for bonus lessons, which might not be part of this lesson notes or this a bonus lesson. We're going to look at, we're also going to use Claude, Claude.ai, because I know some of us here doesn't have access to their systems and might want to use their phones, for this lesson purpose. So if you are on that part, we can decide to use, I think we'll have to vote on this, whether to use Hero or Claude. Okay, we'll vote on it to see the pool. Hold on, please. Let me log my. Okay, so let's continue. So we'll vote on what to use for our projects during our project development. We'll have to look at what we're going to use and what not to use. So here you say Kiro extends beyond single prompt generation by maintaining awareness of the whole project during development. I think this is one of the key strong feature that Kiro has. And recently some
And
other
your screen now.
um
Are you not sharing?
no, I'm not sharing yet. So these are one of the key features that Kiro has. Some other IDE like Kiro, like True and Cursor, this IDE editors has strong features of keep maintaining awareness throughout the whole project. Like the context systems is large and there's how they do it. All right. The first one we're looking at is context-aware code generation. Kiro reads existing file and structure so new code matches established patterns. Hold on. Let me, first of all, I'm going to share my screen. Going to share my screen. Let's share my screen. Entire screen. I hope everybody can see. So I'm going to open Kiro here. Sorry, this is a project I was working on the last night. Let me give us an example of what Kiro can do. I hope everybody can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to give us an example of what Kiro can actually do. Look at this project. This project was designed few days ago, and excuse me, sorry. This project was designed in just a matter of 2 days, and even with how vast the project is, it's perfect and it's working the way it's supposed to. Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. Now, can everybody see this session?
Yes.
I hope everybody can see this. Yeah. So this particular platform here is not a platform. This is a trading intelligence for artificial, like trading of cryptocurrencies and all that. Okay. This is training. It has a training physiologist, like it trains itself. It learns from pure development issues and everything that it has. Okay, it has memories. It keeps record of past episodes of trading markets, and it keeps getting better and better every day. Okay, and this was built in a short time of within 2 days. Okay, so you can see all the features of this. It has a whole bunch of features. This is more like the intelligent system that checks everything. And even, let's say for instance, look at the training ground. So this is the training ground. As of when I checked this, this particular intelligence, it was losing during the stimulation. It was losing almost $100. But after checking, look at it now, it's gaining towards it. And you see, it started just like it recently started gaining, and it has done over 201 trades. You know, before I started trading, there was no pure intelligence Nothing. It doesn't have any intelligence, nothing. So as it's trading on stimulation here, is learning through this stimulation. After a complete trading before the session, it's the live session trading will commence, meaning it have learned everything it wants to learn and is now ready to start trading by itself. See, and this was built following the same pattern we discussed last week, which is the milestone. You can see we have a series of milestones here. And the most important thing before developing of any project, I know some of us would like to develop something as complex as this, but there's one thing that people actually do miss during developing, like during development, and I'm going to say it, is proper planning. Okay, just make sure when you're planning your project, you don't miss a single uh, a single feature or a single context of your project. Let's say your project has 5 hands and 2 heads. Make sure it's like that during your planning. Don't put less or put more. Okay. If your project has 3 fingers and 2 eyes, just make sure it's like that. And don't put more or less. Okay. So your planning has to be very precise and exact, not more or less. Has to be exact or precise. And if you remember last week when I was trying to create our chat interface, I kept planning and planning. This is not correct. Just make sure your planning is authentic. It doesn't like it's not more or less. It has to be the same with what you want. It has to be exactly what you want. The planning has to follow the same blueprints, the same everything. It can't miss a shred of information, because that shred of information that is missing, that's what is going to cost you a whole lot of money, because coding with all these editors, enhanced editors, is really you're going to really spend a lot to do that. All right. And for you using free credits, those ones too, you are still going to spend all your free credits, and you are yet to achieve what you are trying to achieve. I hope that's understandable. So
Yes.
moving on. Let's look at here. I'm going to open a new window, since this one is the project I was working on. So, and after I open a new window, I'm going to sign out from my account, because this account is, yeah, let me use this one. This account is I've exhausted the credits here. So I'm going to sign out to sign in another one. Just for this class purposes. I'm going to sign in. So right now I've signed in successfully. Now I'm going to start by explaining some of the things that Kiro does. So when you open Kiro for the first time, you're going to see this interface where it will say get started, open a project. And by your left hand side here, by the very top, if you hover over the icon, the second icon after the Kiro icon, by the left pane, you hover over the left pane, you see we have explore, we have search, we have source control. This source control is where you usually manage your push and pull to GitHub. Okay, let's say the ICD pipeline is involved and all. So here you have run and debug. So this is where you can debug your projects, your existing project. Okay, so I'm going to open up our old projects that we worked on last week. Day 3 orchestrator. Okay, so you can see this is our old project we worked on last week. All right, and the development ended in tier 2, so we have not done tier 3 or tier 4 or tier 5 or tier 6, but can still do that. So here, this is what we are talking about then. This is called the Kiro itself. Okay, when you hover over this and you see Kiro, then you know you are in the right icon. Click on it and you see this. You see specs, you see agent hook, you see agent steering. So in order to give Kiro a very huge understanding of the project you are building, you need these 3 files. So in order to avoid deviating and doing something else. So first of all, you create a new spec. New spec is more like this. You see the milestone, all this milestone. So I prefer doing this one, this milestone development, than the spec. But you can decide to find out yourself. Kira will do the planning for you, and it will develop the features for you. Okay, that's the spec. Okay, so but if you don't want to, if you want to create plan by yourself and do your create your features yourself, then you remember how we did it last time. So to be on a safer side, is much more better you plan yourself and create the specs yourself. So everything here from this milestone here is more like a spec for us. But if we create a Kiro spec, it's going to be different. Kiro has its own way of creating its own spec. So the next one is agent hook. So we can attach hooks to our projects based on actions that was executed on the files. Let's say a file was saved, a file was edited, or a particular folder was edited, a file in a particular folder was edited, and because of that, I want to do this, I want to do that. So you use agent hook to do that. You can create as many hookups as possible and attach it to a particular project or a particular file or a particular folder. Okay, let's say for instance, look at this. So I can create a hook manually, or I can use Kiro to create the hook. So these are, you see, I can create an agent hook, event hook, action performed, context, and so on and so forth. It can easily be manually triggered, or I can do this file created. If file was created, it will trigger. If file was saved, it will trigger. If file was deleted, it will trigger. If prompt was submitted, it will trigger. If agent stops, it will trigger. So it depends on what triggers it, or I can even run it directly from here. Okay, that's after I've created the hook, by the way. All right. So speaking of hooks, I think that's all for hooks. We'll go to agent steering. Okay. Agent steering is a guide agent behavior and responses. So you see this this place here. I don't miss it in any project I'm creating or building. I don't miss this agent steering. I can omit agent hooks. I can omit specs. But you see this one here, I don't miss it. You know why? It's important if your project is too large or too complex. It's important you have a steering. Steering is more like a guide. Okay, it guides your agent on what to do on your existing coding pattern, your existing styling pattern, your existing code structure. In order to avoid missing those important things, which are key features of your programming environment, the steering documents is very important. So let's say, for instance, we already have a project, right? So we can easily create a steering document. Very simple to create. All I have to do is click generate. And it will generate the product for us, the product document. It will generate the tech document, and it will generate finally the product document, the tech document, and the structure document. Okay, so those documents will be saved in a file. As you can see here, it's generating. First of all, Kiro is reading through everything we have. So it's going to try and understand our project, and then it's going to create those steering documents for us. Because those steering documents is what the application you will use. I think it says I have high distance. So let me use Claude 4. So let me try again. So I'm using Claude 4 now. So now, as you can see here, we have MCP servers. You can connect your Figma and connect your Figma to Kiro and so on and so forth. You can connect your Postman to Kiro. You can connect your Stripe to Kiro. You can connect your Strand to Kiro. Okay, so all these things can be connected to Kiro. Okay, so now as you can see, it's reading through everything and it's creating the project architecture. Let's not do it this way. Hold on. I'm going to regenerate this. I'm going to go to agent steering document and click generate. I think it's more preferable that way instead of canceling and then restarting it or copying whatever his prompt is. So Kiro actually there's a function that comes together with this. I believe that's why. But let's move on. So now the next icon here is the power icon, the Kiro power. Okay. So there's no installed MCP. So here is you can install third-party MCPs and then connect them to Kiro directly without you going to Figma to copy the design and then to paste it on your Kiro and for Kiro to do it and back and forth. You can just look for that particular API here. If you can find it here, then it means Kiro can access it. All you have to do is to connect them to Kiro. You see, you can see Netlify in Kiro, you can see Visly, you can see Supabase, we can see a whole bunch of API applications. You can see them on Kiro here. Okay, so this is how the Kiro power is. It's more like an MCP APIs. So as you can see here, our steering document for our project is now created successfully. If you check at the very top here, you see Kiro.Kiro. You'll see something called the steering. If you click on it, you see the product. You see the product say a conversation orchestration engine demo that demonstrates how to build chat-like interface with predefined conversation flow. This is not a real chat application or AI system. It's a demonstration of orchestration pattern using hard-coded responses. So which our application is. So the product is a very short file that will just describe our application so that each time Kiro is trying to run something on our application, it will take note of the product. Now, the structure. The structure is how our project folder is arranged. Okay, get to see it here. And the next one is the tech. The tech is what we used in building our project. So it's also going to show here. This is very important for steering documents. Please don't forget this. So moving on, let's going to stop sharing. So we have gone through some of the capability of hero powers. We have gone through what they would do and how they do it. So today we are going to prompt to build a full stack editor. We're going to build a full stack application in minutes based on, I think that will actually end today's course. So building this full stack application, we're going to be very fast with it. So can anybody suggest something simple we can build very fast?
A blog.
A blog? Okay, I think that makes sense. Okay, let's build a full stack blog in minutes. So first of all, I'm going to start presenting again. Let me start presenting again, entire screen. Okay. So now I'm back. So for starter, when you're planning, you can use a different amount of platforms to plan. This is very important, but most times you can decide to base on one system, on one particular software. Okay. So for me, I'm going to use ChatGPT, but sometimes ago I do mix ChatGPT with DeepSeek. Okay. But that was some time ago. No longer do that. That was before ChatGPT became very, very intelligent. So I no longer use DeepSeek anymore for that. But if you want, you can mix what I'm trying to say, you can mix multiple AI systems to plan your project. Okay. So here, I'm going to say, I want to build. So we're going to use Kira, and at the end of the class, we'll try as much as possible, fast forward, and try using Claude to build the same thing. Okay. So I want to build a prod log application. Now, you see, this application is very straightforward. There's a CRUD there, and there's a blog application. And then you see, it's very, very straightforward. Okay. So here, I'm going to use something called JSON. So because it's beyond the scope of this class, there will be no database. But if we want to learn more about all these things I'm mentioning, I'm going to drop a full stack app, how to build a full stack application on inside the group. I'm going to drop it in the group, and anybody who is interested in continuing from here can go ahead and watch these videos. Okay. No database integration. So remember, everything I'm doing here, I'm adding context. Based on our last discussion, this is how you add context. You see, I said I want to build a CRUD application, which is our first natural language, followed by using JSON from the backend, for the backend, sorry. No database integration. Okay. for the backend. Then I'm going to add a semi context, which is dummy data. Thank you. Then no database integration. Then very simple. And very simple. Then finally, see there's a full stop. And then I'll say plan this development. So here, our development will be planned. Okay, so I'm going to copy this because everything follows the same pattern of what we want. Just make sure it doesn't fall outside it. You see here we have blog development planning, JSON dummy data, perfect, which is okay. Blog post pages, the features, the state management, the validation, the user feedback, and so on and so forth. So here, if we can come down here and say tech is Node.js and HTML and CSS. Okay, so we went as far as giving us the luxury of using back end and front end instead of using front end for everything. So now we have two applications currently. So I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to open our day 3. So instead of opening our day 3, I'll go back to this. I'm going to open a folder. I'm going to open a folder called day 4 blog. So I'm going to select. So this is day 4 and we're good. So I'm going to create an overview, overview.md. So I'm going to create overview.md. So I'm going to paste everything I copied and I think that's it. Okay, so here, let's get started. So looking at this, we already have a very nice plan. This is very short and very simple planning. And we have our project here. You can see how we'll build this project in a matter of minutes. So let's get started. So I'm going to say create a. Hope everybody can see my screen.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to say create a create project milestones. So now I'm going to show you a bit. The other day we did milestone based on tiers, broken down in tiers. There's something else a bit more uh, com complete. Okay, so a little bit more advanced, but okay. So, comma, should be grouped. Take note of the sub context.
If I may ask, that's
Yeah.
0 to 1 dependency. You're saying that there's no dependencies. Like we don't want any dependency on an external. We don't want any external dependency per se.
No. Okay. The 0 to 1 dependency is top to bottom. Let's say you are creating a social media page, right? The login page doesn't depend on any other page. Instead, moreover, every other page depends on the login page. Okay, let's say a landing page that doesn't have a login doesn't depend on any other page. It's just on its own. So the functionality login or the functionality register is on its own. Register is even first before the login. So let's say the login is dependent on the user registering before logging in, right? So that register is on the 0 and the login is on the 1. Do you understand?
Yeah, I get. But I don't really understand the context of using it. Like,
Okay, now the AI actually understands.
so
If the AI doesn't, if you don't specify dependency based hierarchy, that means your project is going to get messy. And the developing uh, developing linearly is the best way to do that. In parallel, you get a lot of bugs and a lot of errors. So in order to develop linear, you have to use dependency-based development path strategy. That is why it's very important to do that. That way, you will not spend so much time debugging your code. Like if you imagine for a project that I just showed you, the Barney project I just showed you. Now, you look at that project, you discover the project has bunch of lots of functionality. But if I tell you that I spent less time debugging this project, you won't believe me. Because they'll be like, it's AI that wrote it. So there's no, I will have to spend more time debugging it. No, that's because most people that do spend more time debugging is because they used parallel development. And by default, all these editors we have here use parallel development, which is not good. If you are a human and you're developing, parallel development comes with a lot of price because all these big companies in the past that use many developers to work on features all at once. Let's say 5 developers or 20 developers working on the same project. That is called parallel development. And that parallel development, at the end of the day, you discover that this is breaking, this is breaking, this is breaking, this is breaking, and it doesn't actually end well, end very, very badly. Because sometimes there are some bugs you might not even find out where it is or where it's hiding. Bugs are not errors now. Can be lying down there and you can't even see it. And it will be there for as long as it wants to stay. Is it understood? Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay. Okay, let's move on. So here, broken down into here, and milestone. So you see this, if you check this prompt, you discover this prompt is a bit different from the one we use for our day 3 orchestrator. Okay, you see we have create project features, feature milestone, okay, for Ash current file. Sorry, using Ash current file. Now features should be grouped based on 0 to 1 dependency, broken down in tiers, and milestone naming convention should follow this pattern. Now, finally, make sure you don't forget this. See this final context here. Make sure you don't forget it. Anyway, I'm going to paste it in the conversation so that for those of us that want to copy the prompt and keep it safe on our side, and do that. Here is it. So there you go. I hope you can see it in the conversation chat.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So now I will send, and our project features will be created for us. So you see milestone 1, dependency 1. Okay. Dependency 0. So he said, I will create a project feature based milestone on CRUD application plan, organizing them by dependencies, ensuring each milestone include both logic and UI. So you see, everything is arranged. So this is our basic structure. Okay, this is tier 1, this is tier 2, this is tier 3. See, that's even better. Now, you take a look at depth 1. You see, we have the blog, the post detail, we have the navigation route. Okay. Now, this is another one. You can see everything here. It's almost done because the milestone is not going to be much because it's a basic application. So here we have the update operation, post enhancements, API implementation, and so on. And these are the accepted criteria. You see that what was generated from our last our last project was a bit different. And today, what we're generating here is much more different. So here we have 5 milestones we are created based on our project overview. Okay, this makes it that our project is now ready for development. So we can now create a milestone folder. Then we're going to paste everything here in there. So we'll start with the first one, the first thing to do. The last time we just started developing milestone dependency 000. Okay, but this time around, we are going to go to Cura by the left, on the left pane, click on it, and then you see spec. We don't want spec, we don't want hook, but we want a steering document. So we're going to create a steering document here. Going to create a steering document. Let's wait for the steering document to be created. So now, looking at this, our product is created. It says, this is a simple blog application built as learning tutorial or broad operation. The application demonstrates fundamental web concept without complex framework or database. Okay, so if you want database, you can. I'll be posting that on the inside the group, so we can actually do that on our free time. So here, see, we have everything here almost ready. Okay, so our structure. So during development, Kira will be following everything in this steering document. It will follow this steering document to the end of the project development. So here I can now close this, and then let's start development. So first of all, I'm going to start with the first. Now I can now easily delete the overview if I want. In order to avoid it being read, I can just create an application called dot. Can call it dot hide. Okay, and I'm going to drag the overview to this. So if you create an application with dots in the front, it's going to hide the file. So any file you drop in there will be hidden. So I'm going to drag this one to there. So now we're done here. Now over to the next. Next, we start developing our dependencies milestone. So we'll start with the first one. So you say based on hash current file, start implementing tier 1. So there. Now, because this file is open, that's why I'm using current file. If the file is closed, I'll have to use, make sure it's the file name that's showing. But if the file is open, I'll use current file. Okay. So So it's actually going to know that is the file this file I'm talking about. If I'm open on any other file, then it's going to say is that file. Okay. So it understands that this is the file I'm talking about. All right. I think they just brought light, and I'm not having lights this morning. So the project is setting up, getting ready for us to use. The backend is currently setting itself up. So if you check here, you see we have a lot of items. These items are supposed to be saved on the database, but because we are not using the database, we are using something called the JSON file. So this is how a JSON file looks. It's more like a JSON file contains data. Okay, so let's say this session here is a data and comma. Another section here is another data followed by comma, another data followed by comma, and so on and so forth. We can have as many sections as possible. But before we can start creating these data, we need to add this square bracket at the very top, and then another square bracket at the very bottom. So if you don't have any more data and you add comma, you get an error because you are not supposed to have comma if there's no more data. So that's why there's no comma at the end. So the data has to be fully, and you can't add a data without adding that. We can't add a new data without adding comma. You will get an error. So you see here, this is how a data looks like. So what our project is why Kira is trying to run our projects and try running our prompt, the first prompt we mentioned. We'll try as much as possible and then go through some of the data that we have. So here, you can see this data here. Data is here already. And here we have a front end. Okay, this is our server. And inside our server here, we have the HTML. We have our HTML and everything. Have our index.html. This is our index. And then we have our post. This is where we create our post. Okay. This is create, and this is the post itself, the list of each post. All right. This is where we get the list of each post. We get it here. And then we have index, we have edit, we have create, and then that's it. So we're almost done. So just wait a minute. So while creating a README, I'll just install. Okay, I've installed. It's the 4. So milestone 0 has now been created successfully. We can now run the application. So if we say npm, we check our system here. We see start, npm start. We have server.js, which is here. So main server.js. So you can see here, blog server running on. So we can now open this. Okay, let's see. So we can now open this because our server is running here. See, this is all our blogs. Our first blog that was created, this is how it looks. We can view the blog, can edit, can go back to post. So most of the blogs that are loading is loading directly from that that file that we opened initially. That's this one.
The JSON file.
Yeah, the JSON file. Exactly. So you see everything here is what is being served on this place. Okay, because we're not using database. So it's getting, you can see getting started with Node.js written by John Doe, and technology is the category, and then a little bit of description. You check here, you see that the title, getting started. See, John Doe, see, accept. This is a little bit of description, then the content, then the image. Then now in the image section, I can just add more context. I'll say use Unsplash for real time images. And in order for me to bring out these prompts in this file, all I did was I pressed Control A and then I pressed Control I. Control A means select everything and then Control I. But if it's a particular section that I want to talk to, let's say I want to talk to this place, I can just select it and then press Control I. But if it's all the section I want to talk to, I have to press Control A and then Control I. All right. So because I'm talking to everything, I'll just send it and it's going to edit this file and then change all of it to Unsplash image. Okay, so here you can see everything has been changed to Unsplash. If I restart the server and reload, I get images, but these images are not really enough because the generated Unsplash images are not Unsplash images actually. See, there's application error. So I'm going to go to. So let me give you an example. So I'm going to go to Unsplash and then just pick out any image here. Open image address. Nah, I'm not using Dreamstein. So make sure the image you are trying to open is actually Unsplash. Because this is Dreamstein, so it kind of got me confused. So here, this is Unsplash. So I can take any of the free image here, Unsplash open, and this is Unsplash. So I just copy this, select everything here, Control I, and say, make sure image URL follows similar pattern. Then here is my context, context. If you remember, we talked about content, context. So the context here is this image I copied. So just paste and go. It says experiencing high traffic, try again. Okay, more like traffic is much on this. So let's cancel Control A, Control I. Let's try again. Do the same. So let me use, I'm going to use the editor itself. I'm going to current file and then comma. So it's going to update images. Okay. So now I'm going to restart the whole CRUD, and I'm going to reload. So you can see now we have images for our articles. Okay. So now let's move forward to the next phase of this development. I'm going to cancel this. Let's move on to the next phase. So what was built? So milestone 0, as you can see here, it says milestone 0 complete, meaning everything in milestone 0 was completed for us. Sometimes it's not like this. We'll have to say, do this in milestone 0, but as you can see, the accepted criteria was completed. Say data host, which is on 2, and then server basics server, which is on 3. Yeah, it's complete. Tier 1 to 3 has been fully developed by the by Kira. So now we can move to tier 2, which is milestone 0.1. Now I can see based on current file. You see, I don't have to change my, so I'm still using based on current file, which is the current open file. All right. I want to close this. Sorry. I want to close orders. And then I'm going to send it. So it will start implementing this one. All right. So I'm going to shut down the server. So currently, what is it trying to achieve in milestone 01? So it's trying to create a read operations from API, and no UI get needed for this. And then we have the blog homepage is going to fetch all posts in the blog homepage, which it has already done for some reasons. So it's practically working fine, and every other thing is just an addition to what is already there. Okay, so we have the blog post card design layout. So it's going to do everything here from tier 1 to tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and I think tier 4 is everything we have on milestone 2. Okay. So you see, this is implement the read operation for CRUD application. Users can view all posts and individual post details. All right. So you can see this is my CSS. I'm just going through everything that was generated. So we are starting our project, and let's run. See that it's functioning properly as it's supposed. So you can see the design changes a bit more because we are still following the same the same milestone. So each milestone comes with its own design, its own feature, everything. So you see the milestone has its own feature, and here we can create new post as well. So let's look at so let's stop the project working, and as it is, milestone 1 is now complete, because with everything that I just saw on the view, I can go through this is the file that we are supposed to be created, which is post.js, which has already been created, index.html, which has already been created, post.html, app.js already created, style, and so on. All this has already been created, and it's all working. So as it is, milestone 1.0.1 is now fully complete. So let's move on to the next, which is milestone 2. And close this file. I hope everybody can hear me.
Perfectly.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So now we're moving to milestone 2, which is making this more enhanced and more usable. So here we have the add new posts. This is what this milestone is all about. We're going to make it create this milestone for us. So while we wait and while it round up its design, we're going to do the same thing based on Hash current file starts implementing tier 1. So if you look at, you see that it changed the design. So the image is missing. I think it removed all my images. There we are there. So I don't want this. Any design, any development that you don't want, once you check the difference, see this view difference here on the file, and you view it and it's showing like this, and you don't want the changes, you can just click on the arrow button by the right. When you click on it, the file will close and you have made those changes. So I can just close it without saving. And if I open it again, let me change it again. So if I open it again, I think that's the 5th one. Open it again. Okay, it has more than five changes. So I think you have to click each and every one of those changes. Yeah, good. Now, so we are done with this. I still need so I'm going to go to, we're done with milestone 0.1. So we're moving to milestone 0.2.
Identifying those changes, like I sort of missed that part. I don't know the way you select to see the difference between before the change and after the change.
Okay,
Like,
now
is there a
look.
special way?
Okay, let me show you this. Can you see the right side of my screen? Can you see it?
Yes,
Is
I
it too
can.
small? Okay.
I
Now,
can see it. I can see it.
Okay, you can see my cursor now.
Yeah.
So when you click, you can see the view different file by the right end.
Okay.
See that
Yeah.
looks like a very small box arrow. So when you click on it, it's going to show you the difference. You are going to see the changes is the original file is on the left.
Okay.
While the changes is on the right.
Okay.
Okay. So when you look on the right and the left, and you discover that is you see this red line is what is changing. So if you check the green one, which is what is changing it to, and you don't like it, you can click this undo all changes, and your file will be reverted back to normal how it was before. You understand? And
Yes, I get it now.
yes, okay. So now let's think we still have let me open tier 3. Based on our current file. So currently our blog is becoming more enticing, looking more more professional from design. As you can see, the cards, the way it looks. This cards is from milestone 0.2, 0.1. This is where this card came from, how the card was designed to fit this session. So this is if you want to create a post like hello, author is Samu. So I can create a post, JavaScript, testing, tested, and then I can paste an image if I want. So let's go here and copy this image here. So come back and then paste, then create post. So our post won't be created because the create functionality hasn't been implemented yet. Okay. With what we have here, create functionality is coming up in, oh, what did I do? I missed this. I think I started create operations without. So anytime you made a mistake like this, you can just cancel and then come back at the very top. You see a checkpoint, you see restore. Once you click restore, click confirm, it will revert all your project back to what all editing you did on this current one. So I think we are currently on milestone 0.2, which is not zero. We're not on 0.3. 0.3 is for the later. So let's work with that. Yes. So now our post.js. So this is what our post.js looks like. I'm not going to explain this because it's beyond the scope of this class. But this is, I'm just going to say what it is. This is our router layer, our API layer, where we send requests. For sending requests from our front end, this is where we receive it in our backend. Okay. So now, I think I can run this again. Then after which, I'll run 3. I think our time is far spent. Okay, these are the styling for the forms and everything. So for it to be responsive, These are the styling for responsiveness. But that's it for this. So I refresh this. See, I can say title, hello, Samuel, solid category, JavaScript, testing, tested. Then create post. Can everybody see me? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Can you all still hear me?
I can hear you. Don't know, but you're frozen now. I don't know if it's your network.
It's only that is left.
You don't see how now.
The network is very, very bad. Like, I don't know what happened anyway. Let me round up so that there will be a video. The video will be complete when.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
So
even if you have to do a separate optimized version,
I can
so
do
that there will
that.
be two separate videos, I think it will be okay.
Yeah. So let's just test it. My network, my solar just went off because the weather is kind of not hot or not. There's no sun. So I think here, where is it? Okay. No, this is not it. Okay, here says 50 characters. I can just copy this and paste, then create. Must be at least.
I can't
So.
see your screen again. You're no longer sharing.
Okay. Oh, let me share. Can you see it now?
Okay, yes.
Okay. So now, create, see, post was created successfully with the image, JavaScript. And if we go back to our home CRUD, we should see the post among the list of posts that we have created. So see, the functionality of create was not functioning before, but because we are following a milestone pattern, each feature is created based dependent on one another. Just like I said, the dependency base works for when you have complex system and more complex feature structure. So you need to build you need to develop your project dependency base. That way you won't be confused and you won't spend more time debugging your project. I think now we can now easily move to milestone 3. Milestone 3. Can move to milestone 3. First of all, I want to cancel whatever is going on here because we're done with milestone 2. So we'll do current file and then work towards fixing milestone 3. If you go back to our page here and you click more and then you click edit, you see edit functionality is not just implemented, coming in next milestone. So the edit functionality is yet to be implemented, but based on we are editing our post, we are running our post directly, and we are designing our project milestone based. That means each feature of the application is developed and integrated within each milestone. So each milestone covers a particular feature or particular group of features. So always take note, if your project is very complex, it's very, very important you group each feature in one milestone. If not, you're going to get confused along the line. So it's better to group a feature. Because we are dealing with blocks, I grouped the feature. If you check, milestone 00 not only initialized our project, after initializing it, it also implemented some of its functionality. Because look at it, create basic HTML with data setup. So this is more like each functionality is now grouped inside a particular milestone. Same here, see, is blog listing and details is grouped inside one milestone. This is 2 features grouped inside one milestone. So grouping features in one milestone is very, very important. And that keeps your workspace clean and more efficient. Okay. So with everything we've seen now, I think we can now run milestone. We can now run milestone. Oh, who is there? Somebody coming in. Okay, Faith. We can now run the next milestone here, which is 03. So let's say we're home, running this milestone here. I will click edit. You see, the edit functionality was not functioning previously, but now you see it's working because it's now, this particular milestone is now functioning the way it's supposed to. Okay. So let me check why. Let me see if the check out this files. So you see, this one was updated, but let me cancel this first, and then let's restart the server. So let's go back a little bit, then refresh. So let's click edit for this guy, which is on 7. So our data is being loaded. Let me use this guy. Read more. Let it first. Sometimes you get errors that you're not supposed to. Some of these errors can be console or API errors. Okay, so there's no error on the console, but on the API, our data is fetched. Check our data here, you're going to see our data. So you see there's a little bit of an issue here because our data was fetched and we are supposed to receive that data here on the edit page, and we are not. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this request because this helps. Now, this is a part of debugging that I normally do when I'm building a feature. So I say edit functionality not working properly. Things front end, now the context, front end not receiving data. Okay, now the context. I'm going to paste what I copied, then I'm going to send it. So it's going to look through what we have here, and so what it's going to add, it says it's going to add endpoint to prevent caching. Okay. Now with this, we terminated the project, and let's run it again. Cancel this. Then reload. Edit. Still not. Let's try testing it. So this issues is usually our tech cache that's causing this issue. Some of them are from our cache control, and some of them is probably a CORS request. We might not understand fully what a CORS request is, but we'll get there. So let's look at what changes was made. So the changes that were made here is the fetch. Okay, and we added a cache control. So let's try again. Let's try running that again. Edit. Let's view it more, and then edit functionality. I think this is a bug, very serious one. So we get 200 this time, but the post is still not, we're still not receiving meaning the front end is the issue, not the back end. So this time around, I think we have to like trying to so here I'm going to go to the app.json. Going to try fixing this. This functionality. This we're looking at our app.js. Just here, our format, fetch post, create post, update post, fetch post. So here, this is the response and everything about the response. So if the response is okay, but before that, we want to test and be sure that we are getting the response. Console.log. And then we're going to paste in the response here, just to be sure that we ourselves are receiving the response from the server. So I'm going to put this back on the left-hand side. I'm going to refresh. Then I'm going to check console. Now we got the response. And our response has a body, have a header. Okay. Now let's see what our response has. So we want to see whatever it's there. So we'll have to await. So we'll have to, because we can't do this more than once, so we'll say constant JSON await once. We're not supposed to code in this course, but just for learning purpose, we're going to do that. JSON. And then we're going to return JSON as well. So we're going to refresh this page. Okay, we got the response back, which is perfect. And but for some reasons, the response is not getting to our front end. So our front end is trying to retrieve the response, and this is our post render. This is our create page, validate post, setup. So we look for a place that says init edit page. Okay, this is it. So this is the post ID we are looking for. So here we're posting post. So the post here says await, right? So queue loading. Somebody there. Let me see. Okay, Faith, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just feel the class is longer because we are going to still watch this video, and the longer it is, the more tiring it will get. So I just feel
Yeah.
that you get to stay because I know other people want to watch it too.
Yeah.
It's over 2 hours. You know, when it gets longer, it gets like overwhelming, kind of. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just saying
I'll just,
on my own
yeah,
feeling.
I understand. Me, myself, I'm trying to round up here. So, but from everything, let's just round up on this edit part. Uh, let's just round up on this. Okay, so the post is actually returned and is getting to this place. So does it mean the population side? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Show form loading. Finally. Yeah. I think that's much more preferable. I think that's our issue. So if that's what it's missing, so what will happen is I will get to the bottom of this bug. You know, that's one thing with editing with AI. I'll get to the bottom of this bug and we will I will make a video for this especially and post it on the group. I think that will be it for today's class, for today's course session. And thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you on the next. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Samuel. Thank you.
You're welcome.